think so. Hello, welcome to 2025 Mad About You YouTube channel. I'm Madeleine. I am out of practice. How do we even... Yeah, okay. I'm Madeleine. Welcome to my corner of the internet. I'm coming to you today on the land of the Gubby Gubby people of the Sunshine Coast, and in the spirit of reconciliation, I acknowledge your traditional custodians, and I pay my respects to elders past and present. It is Thursday the 6th of March 2025. I am at home. It's like 4:20 in the afternoon. The lighting is not great. I think I know how to fix that though. Give me 1 second. Whoa, yeah, okay. So, welcome to, this year. I realized that it is March and I haven't posted at all. There's a few reasons for that, which I'm sure we'll get into. If you are new here, I am a knitter, crocheter, sewist, maker, in my early 30s, and I have been doing this YouTube podcasting since the middle of about 2018, so this might be year 7. Not great at maths, 7, which is kind of exciting. I do not have any lofty goals for this year. So far we're just gonna play it by ear in terms of what I managed to make and what I managed to get out content wise. But if you are a new viewer, welcome to my channel, and if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back despite the sporadic nature of this whole shebang. Today I have some works in progress. I don't believe I have any finished objects since my previous video, and I have I'm about to cast on and swatch kind of situations that I want to talk through, and I've got some other making that I have done recently in my hiatus from knitting. So let's get started on my let's go finish things, and you know what, let's start with something different. Let's go sewing content. I got my sewing machine out a couple months ago. Well, it would have been early January, so yeah, a couple months ago, just before school went back, and I made a few things that I've been wanting to make for a long while. The first of which is a pencil case, and it's supposed to be a shark. It looks a bit more like a whale, so it has like maybe it's a whale shark. And so it has a dorsal fin. This fin, I actually put that on upside down. It has 2 little side fins. Let's see if I get rid of my face. Can you see him better? And it's pretty cute, I think. The mouth opens up, and then it's got my bunch of stuff for school. So this is the pencil case that doesn't usually come home with me. But it's like if I just have it in my bag in case I end up doing a supervision for another teacher or I get a room change and I'm not in my classroom. So I've got like the bare minimum of whiteboard markers, pen, pencil, ruler, fountain pen, whatever. So that's really cute. I wanted to make him this pattern for a really long time, and I finally got around to it. So yeah, I will link the pattern below. There's a video tutorial which I used all scraps that I had in my sewing kit, my sewing stash, and so that was the first thing that I sewed. Oh, I've got more that's downstairs. Oh, bummer, it's okay. I made a square pouch out of this fabric that I'd been holding on to for a really long time. I have like used diffusible interfacing, so it is lined and kind of squishy. Does that make sense? Like it's padded. That would be the word, padded. And so I like the semaphore flags from my previous career. So I've wanted something to do with this for a long time, and then I thought this is a pretty good idea. So I keep my like charger and mouse and stuff in it if I'm trying my hard drive if I'm traveling, taking that stuff to and from school. Or have also had some pens and pencils in it, but I think it's kind of a better size for those kind of cumbersome electronic devices, and I just want them all in one place. So I made that. I also made this pouch here, which is housing a project that I'm going to show you in a moment. This is like kind of a patchworky zippered situation. And so it's basically being used as a project bag. And I also made myself like a shopping tote bag, so I take it to Woolies or Aldi or whatever, and you know, in addition, it's like a reusable bag that I use at the shops. So that's what I made sewing wise. I really had minimal knitting mojo or like yarn crafting mojo, and it was during summer and it was very hot, so I spent quite a few hours in front of my sewing machine and I really enjoyed it. So that's that. Let's show you my non-knitting project that is inside here. A couple of months ago, I wanted to get back into cross stitch. And I just really wanted to do some crafting, and I wasn't feeling the knitting. I was like working on my blanket a bit, but it wasn't happening. So I said to myself, I looked on Etsy and I found some cross stitch patterns. So I went and bought a whole bunch of cross stitch stuff and a pattern, which I will pop a screenshot in here. So I started, and I think it's supposed to say a little bit something about swear words. And then I realized that I didn't start in the center of my fabric when I started stitching. And so I can't finish the pattern. So I'm gonna have to MacGyver it a little bit. So I think what I'm gonna do is, I can't remember what it's supposed to say, but I'll show you here. And I'm gonna make it say a bit sweary, or something like that. And then I want to put it in a frame and put it on my desk at work. And so I just bought, yes, I got the pattern off Etsy. I had this, I went to Spotlight and I bought some Aida cloth. I think it's 14 count. I actually had this cloth in another set though, so I just cannibalized from this one from Kmart. Because I wanted to make 2 projects, and just like with cutting the cloth and whatnot. And I bought a bunch of, I bought 2 lots of, you know, embroidery thread. So I got like a packet, which I'm using for this one. And I have another project, which I have bought stuff for. And that is all somewhere else. And I guess I'll show you that when I start to work on it. But then I also had to get, you know, the plastic tub with the things to wind it on. And then I've had to purchase an embroidery hoop as well. And then I bought the wrong size, and it's been a bit of a debacle. This one here I think is supposed to be just like the display hoop, but you probably can use it. But I haven't loved working with it, so I did buy a new one. The types that I used to use when I was a child don't seem to be sold anymore. They're all like kind of plastic or wooden like this, and I was really struggling to get enough tension on the wooden one. So anyway, that's, hey Finny boy, that's where we're at with the cross stitch situation. We will probably pick that up again shortly, I would say. I think that's it for non-knitting craft. I have a Finn boy who's sniffing around, aren't you, bud? Do you want to say hi to our friends? Finnikin. Hey, buddy. Isabeau has heard me. Finnikin. Alright, let's get on to crafting content. I have no finished craft knitting content. I have one work in progress which may or may not get frogged. I started knitting a pattern called, I saw a lady making it at Knit Night in January and I went, that top's great, and she told me it took her 3 days, so I went, perfect, I'm gonna buy it. It is called the Sabai, S-A-B-A-I top. By and I'm knitting number 2, which is by someone called Paula Strict. Oh, actually there's 2 names on here. It says copyright Paula M and Susanne Muller. Not entirely sure, but the Instagram handle is at Paula Strict. It is a knitted, it's knitted in stockinette seamlessly from the top down neckline is worked in the round, and the increases are worked for a slanted shoulder, which is what I'm up to now, but it is on pause because I'm really not feeling it, but that could also be because I didn't swatch and I'm scared it won't fit. But anyway, it was progressing quite nicely, but now I'm focusing my views on, making something that I can wear in the winter. So this is how far we got. I've started like, that's the shoulder. It's supposed to have a rolled neck. I wouldn't usually make the rolled neck version, but the lady that I saw at Knit Night, she also has a YouTube channel, so I will pop her handle here. She's spending her time like between near where I live and I think northern New South Wales, or Wollongong I think she said. So anyway, that's kind of like, it's now hibernating, but it was on the go. And then my biggest project that I'm working on is my bougie blanket, my Zigzag Zen Blanket, sorry, which I'm doing as part of the bougie blanket make-along that I'm hosting. I've been a very terrible host, but we will talk about that in non-knitting news. I have been using yarn from an advent swap that I did with my friends back in 2022. I've actually made pretty good progress. I knit a bunch, like the first 4 sections in like the first 9 or so days of January. Then I had a bit of a hiatus just before school went back, and then I got inspired again at Knit Night in January before I cast on that top. And then Knit Night in February, I started the next section and I'm on to the next one. So I'm hoping by Knit Night next week, if we survive this cyclone, of course we'll survive, but like if infrastructure wise we are good to go back to things next week, which is when we're supposed to meet monthly, hopefully I can have a section finished. So this pattern is called the Zigzag Zen Blanket. I have got a main color, which is here. It is by Bendigo Woolen Mill. The colorway is Ghost. It looks silver or like grey, but it actually to me has like a light blue hue. Light blue hue. It could be a combination of the yarn that I'm using, but anyway, I think it gives off like a light blue tinge. Let me show you what I've got so far. I might need to zoom out. Okay, that's as far as we can zoom. Alright, so it's kind of like log cabin-y. I don't think you can hear me very well when I talk behind it, so I'm just going to show you and then I'll talk after. Oh, cat stampede. So I am currently, hey Bobo. Alright, so I am on this section here, which would be section 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nope. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Section 7. I think there's 14 if you make it as big as you can, which is what my plan is, to use up as much yarn as possible. And originally I was like doing it in the blocks of 6 yarns. It was the 4 of us in our swap, and then I knew I'd have to supplement some other yarns to get me up to 28 contrasting skeins or whatever. I'm using fingering weight held double for my color stripes, and then the Bendigo Woolen Mills yarn is their luxury 8 ply. And then, yeah, so I did start with everyone's colours together, so Crystal 6 are in there, and then I was talking with someone at Knit Night just about the colours and like making it cohesive, and they said, why don't you just do them in like how you think it flows best, as long as you use the ones that you want. And I was going to exclude a few because they were self-strapping and I just didn't think it's going to work well with holding it double, etc. So that's what I've done. Is it the most cohesive colour palette? No. Is it a memory of the Advent swap and all the yarns I did with my friends? Yes. So we're running with it. So I have tried to kind of match them though. Like this section here has purples, so then we go into purples. And then this one here has purples, but it also has some like of these greeny kind of colors, so that like blends. And then this one here has like the purples, and it's not quite orange, but like browny kind of tones. And so I've got this orange or apricot color going in, and then my next color will be this one here, which is like I think it kind of looks gingerbready. I don't know why I say that because it's got flecks of green in it. It has stellina, but it's more of like a browny, pinky, softer colour. And then the colours that I'll go into next are all here. So we'll do like pinks. There's a few more greens. If I had have like been flexible in how I was doing this, I probably could have put the greens in earlier. But like that one will go with this dark green, and then those two will probably go together. And like the pinks will work together, so I think it will be fine. I'm really looking forward to making a little bit more progress on it. It is a really potato chippy knit. It is a paid for pattern, but the construction is super easy once you've figured out the 2 stitch repeat. You're laughing. And it was actually quite chilly at knit night the other night, or like a month ago, whenever it was. So it was nice to have it sat on my lap because I thought it would be sunny, and it was kind of sunny, and then it was warm. But the week before that the month before, it had been really hot. So I turned up and I had like a linen top and linen shorts on, and the weather had cooled off, and I was a bit chilly, but it was nice because I had my blanket on my lap as I was working. So yeah, if you're just seeing this and you'd like to join the Bougie Blanket Make Along, you may. It doesn't have to be bougie. It does have to be a blanket. It could be knit, crochet, or yeah, like knit, crochet, slanket, schlanket, I'm alright with. And you just have to cast it on this year, and I guess finish it by the end of the year is the aim, but who knows. And I'm using bougie yarn because it's an advent swap that I did, but it doesn't have to be bougie for you. Like this color, it cost me like $50 for a blanket's worth of, which to be fair is like not inexpensive. But that was a cheaper version for the rest of it. All right, I'm gonna get it off my lap because it's a little bit warm for us. I have been storing my leftovers back inside one of these tubs. If you're in Australia, you can get them from Kmart. They're like called a craft organizer tub or something. So as soon as I finish with a color, I've been putting them in here. And then like I'm trying to use up yarns that I have, so I don't actually know, you know, once I'm done with it, I might just put them all together and then give them away or do something with them. I'm not entirely sure. Alright, so that is what I'm currently knitting on. I do have a future make though. If you've been here a long while, you will remember maybe the Stonecrop pullover saga of 2021, where I knit a Stonecrop pullover by Andrea Mary. I did a class with Alison from Alison Knits. I think she's Ali Knits. Anyway, she has a company with her friend now. I'll put them below too. And so yeah, but I swatched like 3 times, but Andrea Mary is really difficult for me to get gauge with. That's similar for her, and I wasn't as confident with the maths, even though I was doing like a live class. I was getting up at like 5 a.m. maybe in Australia to be like 2 p.m. Chicago time the day before. They thought that was hilarious, but it was really good. I learned some skills, and I have the videos of the class. But I'm going to try again. So recently, I've said like years ago I was going to frog it, and I didn't frog it until literally like last weekend. I used Spin Cycle yarn and this Bellissimo for my first go around, but I'm not loving, like the Spin Cycle is not in my color palette. And I looked at it in the jumper, and I've been like reading some people's reviews for the pattern on Ravelry, and some people like their skeins don't alternate as much as you think they would. And it was expensive. Like I paid $47.50 for 2 50 gram skeins, I think, of Spin Cycle dyed in the wool. This one has been wound up before, but it has been like I've washed it and I actually don't know if I washed it, but it's been like re-skeined, I think, because that looks like my yarn holding that together. So that's fully intact. This one here is in this many pieces. But I'm not feeling to use this yarn again for the top. I also used some of this yarn for my friend Ben's chemo hat last year. So what I think that what I actually did, I was buying yarn for my mum and my auntie who were knitting the Felix cardigan by Savory Knitting. And so I did an order for myself. And I bought this yarn here. I do have a shade card for this season. I used it. This is called navy blue, but it feels more of a royal blue to me when I look at it. This yarn does go, and I actually, to be honest, think the contrast probably would be more striking if I do that. So I might start to swatch with those two. And I do have the swatch somewhere, but I think it's like in my cupboard way up there. So I was thinking, what am I going to do to instead? And I did pull some yarn and put it in a project bag somewhere. So this was my original thoughts. This yarn from Rhinebeck, it is botanical yarn. Sorry, it's not from Rhinebeck. It's a British dyer that I bought when I went to Rhinebeck. It's blowing out a little bit. It looks very warm on the screen here, but I think it's more of a cooler tone yarn, and I do think they go quite well together. So that is my first option. I was reading on Ravelry about people, what they've done, if they've had issues with the spin cycle, etc. And I saw a lady say, who had knit it, that she used a Sweet Georgia Party of 5, which is like a trio of minis, and her main color, and just like alternated that way. I have this really special bunch of yarn from Susanne, who's Ash and Eve Designs, and I got this, so it's her Posh sock. I got it as a Christmas gift, I think, from her maybe 2 years ago. And I've been really wanting to put it into a project that I love. So I was also thinking perhaps I could use these with this, or even, I just need to do the maths on the yardage again, with that, and just do like stripe my way through the color work sections with this yarn here. I had got my colors done, and I am a winter, I'm a bright winter, so like these are my color palette colors. It's going to go really feral for you, but like those sort of bright colors. So these kind of do fit in the cool tone purples, so most of these. So I think that that would work, and I think that it would be something that I would wear because I'd be enthusiastic about it. So I do have those two options. I don't really want to, like, I kind of want to make a decision and then swatch, as opposed to like unwinding this, scanning it up, swatching, and then being like, actually no, don't like it. The pattern I believe is for sport weight yarn. Everything that I've got is 4-ply fingering. This is a little bit more lofty. This luxury 4-ply from Bendigo has approximately 700 meters per ball. So I think the ball was like $17 maybe. I bought 3, which will well and truly be enough yarn actually, now that I think about it. I did want to have extra. And then these Bellissimo yarns, super soft, but I feel like that was where I had those gauge problems before. These are 170 meters per 50 grams. And I've got 1, 2, 3 full balls. Let's do some quick calculator math. 70 times 4 equals 680 plus God knows what is in that. I'd have to weigh it. I'd say probably another couple hundred. So I don't actually know at this point if I'd have enough to make the like a long sleeve version out of that, which is fine. Yeah, so then I also have these here from Finch Yarns. They're not really in my color palette, but well, a couple of them, they're at least cool. Some of them I think look cool to me, so that could be fun. I also have this lot of 5, which are from Botanical Yarn, so the same. I also got these at Rhinebeck, I think. Yeah, so they're dyed in Yorkshire in England. So I do have some options here. I could just do like the navy and purple, and like take the purples out of this one and mix it with you know, the purples from this set from Susanne. I really want to knit something special with this, and I feel like this could be the project. But I only had that epiphany yesterday and I'm only talking out loud about it now. So I'd have to do the maths on this. I think they are, yeah, so these were, I don't know if these are 10 gram or 20 gram minis. I'd have to weigh them and figure it out. But I know that how much the meterage per 100 grams is. So I, yeah, can figure that out for myself. I think they will look nice together. Rather than the spin cycle. I just was really underwhelmed last time. But yeah, I guess I can swatch with the fingering weight and see how that goes in terms of like getting gauge and then choosing a size, because it's supposed to be sport weight yarn and Andrew and Mary, I think, well, mine just was really big last time and I don't really remember what happened, and then I just rage unraveled the last one. Alright, that is waffled. I've waffled. We're waffling. Alright, let's pop that away. Knit and Natter. Oh no, I found another, or they have this option too, which is a Stellina filled yarn. I don't remember who the dyer is because I wound it up. I like skeined it, caked it to put through my circular sock machine and then didn't. So it is either Stitchcraft and Wizardry or Mel from Three Cats Yarn. Yeah. My other thing I was thinking that I could do is I have these Moody minis, which was an advent set from Mel, and these were 10 gram minis. So I could do the maths on that and figure out if any of them, like they're in terms of like color tone, they're pretty good. So that could be a way to use that set. And then I also, just destroying everything here, also have this advent set from Ash and Eve. So even the pinks in this would be really nice, I think, with that navy blue, or even the blues with the blue. Anyway, I'm gonna sit down with my color palette and figure that one out. Cool. Alrighty, what have we got next to talk about? Or what's been happening? It is like March, like I said. I have really struggled to find crafting mojo. I've been reading a lot. I've said this, I feel, for the last couple of months last year, or if I didn't articulate it, I was definitely thinking it. I had an epiphany the other day. I was wondering, maybe last year I got my ADHD diagnosis and I started medication. And I've really felt that since I started medication, which has honestly like been life-changing in terms of me at work and being able to get stuff done, I just think like my symptoms really flared, I guess, when I lost the structure. Hey, puss. Hey, puss. When I lost the structure of my previous career and moved into like studying and then into teaching. Yeah, it's been really, oh, let's zoom back in. It's been really helpful just in terms of like life and in my executive functioning and whatever. And then there was a shortage of my medication, or there is a shortage of my usual medication. The psychiatrist has managed to, he's written me a new script for something else, and that's working. But that was like leading me to a lot of like anxiety is not the right word. I was just like dismayed maybe, because I was just like, I know, like I lived and worked so much of my life without it, and then I know what it's like to have it, and then I was like looking at 5 months of not being able to have medication, and excuse me, it's not something I take every day, but most work day, like almost, yeah, I'd say every work day, but on the school holidays I didn't really take it so much, unless I had something that I needed to do or really needed like that extra dopamine to help me function and focus. But anyway, the rambling way to get around that is, or what I was leading to, is saying that I actually feel like since I started medication, or really since I started the diagnosis process, like this time, no, earlier than this time last year, I have felt less inclined to craft. And then really since I started medication, like I've had minimal crafting mojo, and I've just been crafting because I felt like I had to, either because of my Instagram or because I have the YouTube channel, and it's like I don't I don't really feel like I fall into the trap or the race of people who have massive followings and they have, or like this is their whole job or personality and they have to continually put out content. I mean, I do feel that pressure, and then I feel in the shame spiral of I haven't put anything out or I'm disappearing, and then like I feel like I owe it to people because you take your time to watch me and then I'm not updating, and I felt a lot of pressure to craft, and I really just let myself not. I didn't want to be making out of a sense of obligation, which Stacey Elstone from Stress Knits did. I guess she kind of said a couple of years ago, or she decided that she was just going to make things she actually wanted to make, not because they were trendy. And like I was not prolific enough of a crafter, as you know, in terms of like keeping up to do that. I rarely sign up for test knits because I don't want the pressure of letting someone down. Yeah, so all that to say, I feel like since my brain is more regulated and I have less issues with executive functioning, the need maybe, or the intensity of my desire to craft has been reduced significantly. I'm reading a lot more now. So I just feel like I'm not in like the most crafty season. And then I feel a lot of guilt and shame because I have like all of this stuff because I collect hobbies. You know, so anyway, where I'm going with this is I'm not going to promise how many videos there will be this year. I'm not promising to make anything other than my Zigzag Zen Blanket for my bougie blanket make along, because I don't know what's going to happen in terms of crafting mojo. I do appreciate you watching, particularly this rambly whole little situation, and following along. I'd love to know, has anyone else like kind of experienced this? Is it a season that you've experienced? Does it come and go? I just kind of was reflecting and felt like for the first time in about 8 years or so, or really 9 years, I started knitting again in 2016. So I've been knitting for 9 years. I haven't had the same desire that I had, or that intensity that I needed to. Finn! And I feel like it's because my brain is like better regulated now, but I'm hoping that because everything else kind of has calmed, that I will be able to maybe enjoy it more or find the things that I want to do. But at the moment, like trashy romance novels are taking priority of my free time. And also I've got a bit of heavy reading again to do for school, which I always feels like, I mean, I don't have to do it, but I want to know more about the certain topics that I'm teaching. Finn! Especially for my seniors. Hey buddy, come on. So that's where we're at. So yeah, no promises on the regularity of this content. Thanks for stopping by. We have Isabeau making a little approach. She might come for a cuddle. Isabeau, get your head out of the bag, please. No, not for you. Here, puss. Can you come for a cuddle and say hello to our friends? Yeah, I know there's lots of shit everywhere. Come on. Good girl. Hello. I'm gonna put you up so you can have a cuddle. Hey, Papa. Say hello to the YouTubers. The people on YouTube. Hello. How are ya? I'm a bit worried. Okay, so yeah, before I sign off, one more thing. I guess it's very topical. It's a Thursday and I'm off school because we are bracing where I live for a Category 2 tropical cyclone. I was saying to someone at work this week, I can plan the shit out of a disaster relief situation for a cyclone. I can get a military vessel ready to sail with the stuff that's required. But in terms of like prepping myself for this, I was like, oh, I don't really know what to do. We thought it would have hit, we were thinking it would hit tonight or early tomorrow morning. It looks like it's been pushed back to sometime late tomorrow or Saturday morning. We're expecting lots of rain. Where like this beginning of yesterday, like I was teaching at, whatever was it, block 2, so like 10 o'clock, the kids were like, oh miss, don't you live in this particular suburb? And I said, yep. And they go, it's supposed to hit where you live. And I was like, oh, well, that's a bummer. And then now it's supposed to hit maybe like 50 or so kilometers further south of where I live. The intensity is changing as far as the reporting goes. I'm just kind of keeping my head, not handed in the sand. I'm just as prepared as I can be. I've got bottled water, as in I've filled my own bottles of water. I've got food that's easy to access. I hope we don't lose power. I've taken a video of all of my stuff in my house in case we do have an issue. Parts of my suburb do flood, but I am not near the river, so I shouldn't flood. And it just is what it is. Like, I guess luckily I live on 2 levels, so if the worst was to happen, like, it's just my downstairs, and I can keep me and the cats upstairs and we'll be safe. So I will probably try and edit this today or tomorrow morning and then hope for the best and release it. I'll just upload it to release over the weekend. Thank you for listening to my ramble. I really hope this is recorded in normal speed, not slow-mo like last time. And yeah, thanks for hanging around, and I will see you when I see you. Oh, lastly, you can find me on the interwebs, here on YouTube obviously, and I'm Madbelle on Ravelry, and I'm Mad About You on Instagram. If you are making along for the Bougie Blanket Mal, please feel free to tag me, use the hashtag. I'll put it on the screen here, I can't remember off the top of my head what it is. And then yeah, I will see you on the internet, or well yeah, Instagram's the internet. Okay,